Hello, my loyal listeners. Lana, the educator here. We are celebrating World Read Aloud Day today. I invite you to join me in reading aloud. Here is Old Hag by Mark Watt from his book, The Language of El Dorado, Dangaroo Press, 1994. You think I like this stupidness? Gallivanting all night without skin? Burning myself out like cane fire to frighten the foolish? And for what? A few drops of baby blood? You think I wouldn't rather take my blood season in fat black pudding like everyone else? And don't even talk about the pain of salt and having to bend these old bones down to count 1,000 grains of rice. If only babies didn't smell so nice. And if I could only stop hearing the soft, soft call of that pure blood running in new veins, singing the sweet song of life, tempting an old, dry up woman who'd been holding her final note for years and years, afraid of the dying hum. Then again, if I didn't fly and come to that fresh pulse in the middle of the night, how would you, mother, name your ancient dread? And who to blame for the murder inside your head? Believe me, as long as it have woman giving birth, a poor old hag like me can never dead. So, World Read Aloud Day. Very important day for us. The theme this year is Read Aloud, Ignite Minds, Change the World. And the day really celebrates the joy and power of reading and sharing stories and expanding the definition and scope of global literacy. Now, the nice thing is that the world is more literate now than ever. So you know this falls right in our court here in our channel, Lana the Educator. So how can you participate? What are things that you can do? Well, to observe World Read Aloud Day, you can read aloud, obviously. This is a great opportunity to pick your child's favorite book and take turns reading it. You can, do voices, add character to the protagonist of the story. You can do voiceovers just to make it more entertaining. And if you want to do something more interesting, you can retell the stories that you may have heard from your parents and grandparents. We love to do that here in the Caribbean in telling our folk stories or folk tales. The second thing you can do is you can tweet the hashtag World Read Aloud Day, right? And make it the top trending hashtag out there. The third thing you can do is listen to an audiobook. If you love to read, but you can never find the time to do it, listening to an audiobook is a great alternative to reading a traditional book. And if you're enthusiastic enough about the story, it might even motivate you to tell the story to someone else. Now, let me tell you some facts about World Read Aloud Day. Well, for one, it's a global day. Over 173 countries participate in World Read Aloud Day, and including us here in the Caribbean region. Another fact that you might like to know is that literacy levels actually keep rising. According to UNESCO, the world literacy rate has really risen about 5% every decade since 1950. Another fact is that, well, Audible was the first digital audiobook player. In 1997, Audible, then an independent company, allowed members to download up to 2 hours of audio, including books. Why is World Read Aloud Day important? Well, for one, it is a great bonding exercise. One of the most universal ways of bonding with children involves some form of storytelling. And this day is a great time to establish connections, if you haven't already, not only by reading aloud to children, even your own children, but to those in your community. It's also important because research has shown that reading fiction improves compassion in children and adults, and it opens up us to opinions different from our own and diversity in worldviews. It gives us the opportunity for improved self esteem when we read books that reflect on our culture and our circumstances. And for one, it's a great cause. There are major disparities in literacy levels between countries and genders around the world. And yes, we still have to go a long way in improving access and quality of education to underprivileged societies. But this day, days like today, days like World Read Aloud Day really helps us to raise awareness around this important cause. Take a look at these interesting facts. We can look at when writing was invented, the first printed book, the first audiobook, and the first World Read Aloud Day. Interesting fact, the first World Read Aloud Day was in 2010, and that was a global movement kickstarted by LitWorld. So join me later this week, Lana the Educator, your host, and my guest in extending our observance of World Read Aloud Day. Remember, you empower minds and you ignite curiosity.